Beryl Wajsman, editor-in-chief of the Suburban. Hey, Beryl.
Hey, Dave.
So I don't know if you heard the call-in segment, but I was just asking our listeners, if they had to vote in a provincial election, who they would vote for. And this is completely unscientific, of course. But both on the text line and the callers, I mean, if I had to rate it, it would be a win by the Conservatives, followed closely by an option for English-speaking Quebecers. Let's just put that, all of the different reactions under that heading. Your thoughts, because the Liberals, what I'm thinking here, Beryl, is that I haven't seen in 2023 the Liberals be able to make any kind of inroads in trying to fix their problem with the English-speaking voters of Quebec since the disaster of 2022. And so even this commission for the future of the party that came out and saying, okay, they would amend the Constitution to protect English-speaking rights, but that doesn't seem to have made a dent in the type of resentment there still is in the population.
Look, the Liberals have one groaning problem. And the groaning problem is that the media, particularly the Francophone media, they have one thing in their mind. So whenever they get a Liberal in front of them, whether it's Tongue on down, the first question is leadership. I think it was a mistake delaying the leadership till 2025. Because I can tell you, and I'm sure you have your ear to the ground and have heard the same thing, there are a number of interesting names that we can't go into now that are thinking about this. The second that one of them says that they're interested, you'll see the Francophone media's attention change. The reality is, inside I was going to say inside the Beltway, but that's Washington, right? So inside whatever you want. What do you guys used to call Quebec City? Inside what? Inside the bubble?
Sur la colline.
Okay. Dans la colline. Dans la colline. There's a lot of work, a lot of good work that was done in committees on PL 23, the Sex Education Bill and others.
André Fortin on Bill 15, for example. Sure.
Not getting the attention, Francophone media, first question, leadership. It's going to be the groaning, the 900-pound gorilla on their backs. The reality is that Quebec, let me change that. First Legault election, he positioned himself center-right. He positioned himself away from the usual dogmas of Quebec Solidaire or the dogmas of independence, the economic dogmas of Quebec Solidaire, and the nationalist dogmas of the PQ. And it worked for him. Now, every time his polls went down, he, of course, became Mr. Nationalist from Bill 96 on. He's not going to be able to continue that, and the only real alternative right now still is the Liberal Party. If the Liberal Party comes out with a full-throated declaration, this is who we are. Our roots are individual liberty and economic equity. They've got to take away tomorrow the script from Quebec Solidaire. That's why they lost Verdun. That's why they lost St. Anne. And the CAQ is going to have if they do that, the CAQ is going to have a real problem. This is not taking away from, Eric Duhem and the right things that he's saying. And, he has built up 13, 14, 15% support. But the CAQ just announced in one of the most curious press conferences I've heard in a while, when Finance Minister Girard said, well, yes, we're in the second quarter of negative growth, which is technically a recession.
But it's not really a recession.
C'est pas une récession. Nous devrons reculer pour avancer. We have to step back to advance.
Yeah.
Really? I mean, nobody wants to come here because the CAQ has forfeited that center agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And, the only good news the CAQ has had economically, really, And I'm not calling the battery plant the good news, where they have to invest $2 billion when we could cure poverty. But no, we're spending $700,000 subsidizing jobs to a company from Sweden, 40% owned by the communist Chinese. Now that's perfect. Yeah, and 15% owned by J.P. Morgan, by the way. That's perfect. That's excellent. The only good news they've had economically is the Israeli high-tech entrepreneur Tal Jacobson, who bought high-tech for $156 million 3 weeks ago, no strings attached, with a commitment to make more jobs. That's it. It's interesting that some 3 months ago, Quebec announced that they're going to open up its 36th international bureau in Israel. But we need that kind of investment. He's not going to be able to win it on the nationalist agenda, even with Francophone votes. I shouldn't say that. He's got such a supermajority that he could lose 30 seats and still be returned to power.
Sure.
But the point is, the majority of those 30 seats have got to be picked up by the Liberals for them to stay viable.
Yeah, but the Liberals, even on the economy, I get you on the recession. I remember I talked about it last week. I even had Frédéric.
You talked well. You were surprised yourself. That's your heart. Hey, he's not a stupid man. I mean, but how could he say that?
Well, I don't know, but I even spoke with Frédéric Beauchemin, the Liberal opposition critic, who has now been rehabilitated after his issues with harassment allegation that has now been dropped. And by the way, he still seems in shock. I don't think he's completely back. I think the whole episode really, put him in a state of shock, but that's another thing. But I don't sense, previous Liberal oppositions would have jumped on this recession thing
immediately.
And you would have seen a full court press. But Marc Tanguay was nowhere to be seen. I mean, even Mara Risky, who's the darling of the media these days, I get that she's higher education critic. But at the same time, she was a professor of hold on a second. I have a dog in here. She was a professor of fiscal policy. So why didn't she come out on this? Why doesn't she come out and start talking about what's going on with this? I mean, why not a full court press?
Their response time has been bad. And this has been an issue we've talked about all year long. They're trying to, and I've said this to my Liberal friends, they're trying to be they're trying to add seasoning on every issue that comes out. And I've made the point to them, stick to 3 or 4 major issues. Get your identity back. This is one of those issues. This is key. How are you going to fight Quebec Solidaire in the other ridings that are being threatened when Quebec Solidaire is eating your lunch verbally on what the party, the oldest political party in the country, I might add, the heirs of the Parti Rouge and the Parti Patriote, and other people are eating their scripts. I don't know why that's happening. I do know that they take a long time of talking within themselves before taking a position, and that's got to stop. And they have the people to do it. They've got the talent to do it. It's a small caucus, but it's one of the most talented caucuses.
Well, it'd be nice to see that talent. We were not seeing it.
Too controlled. It's too controlled a caucus. And that's going to be... there's a lot of stars there. And by the way, Fred Beauchemin wasn't bad on finance either.
No, he's not bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anybody's bad.
You've got to let them talk.
Just saying we're not seeing them.
No.
And when you're in the opposition, you can't afford to take vacations when everybody's taking vacations. That's when you have to come out and monopolize the media.
Absolutely.
You got to take. That's why unions do press conferences on Sundays. And you have to be out there and you have to jump. If there's something in the news, you're out there. Your M&As are out there. Your surrogates are out there.
And you know another thing they got to do? They got to get some good taglines. Like when they finally do talk, they talk very eloquently.
I don't know any tagline with the Liberal opposition right now.
So what did Eric Duhem do last week?
Mm.
We talked to him. We ran the story. The Anglophone community is a punching bag for the CAQ. Boom. Of course you're going to get people calling in because they have that in their head.
Mm.
And I don't know what's holding them back. But they got to fix it.
Because
they've got to let there's 3 or 4 people in that caucus that can really deliver a tagline, that can really go full throat. They're holding them back. They got to stop that, and they got to take back their agenda. Because there's going to be a lot of opportunities. We talked yesterday about Bill 15. So I know your listeners, the people we're talking to, language is a major issue, and Bill 96 will be a deep problem. But we talked about Bill 15 yesterday. We talked about health. We just talked about the economy. These are going to be critical problems this year.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody once said you can talk about nationalism all you want, but when the money leaves the pocket, you better have a solution. The Liberal Party of Quebec is the natural place for that solution. They got to let their people talk. They got to stop being scared.
All right. Well, I mean, January is going to tell if they're listening to you or anybody else, because there's an opening here because of the recession, for sure. There's
a massive opening.
Yeah.
It's like a football game, and you've got the ball, and you're seeing an opening in the defensive secondary.
You've
got to go.
And it's not, but I mean, they could be right now, and during the holidays, it's slow. And all the media are all the 24-hour news channels, everybody, ourselves. I mean, they could call us. I mean, they could come on. They could be on Radio-Canada, on TVA. They could be on all the shows and getting out their message and talking about the fact that we are in a recession, that something's going on. You could talk about Bill 15. You could talk about the consequences of everything that's going on right now. The public sector strikes, they're nowhere.
Here's the tagline. We've got a government that's gone nationalist. Nobody wants to bother with Quebec. Attack that.
Well,
that's natural for them.
Well,
over.
On that note, all I can say is there's some callers saying that you should get back into politics.
Yeah, sure. I think the you they're referring to is you.
No,
David.
I have a text here. Beryl Wajsman. I'm not Beryl Wajsman.
Listen, I love you, but you could be interchanging names there.
No. You've
got the pedigree.
Yeah.
Wait.
Anyways, I talk to your people.
Let's start a rumor.
Yeah, talk to your people. I'll talk to my people. All right, my friend. Talk to you tomorrow. Take care. So that was, of course, Beryl Wajsman, editor-in-chief of The Suburban.